Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Here locally in the community. Make sure y'all go check out New Cat Body by Jeremy Campbell.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. It is an FYF Friday. That's right. It's always FTP every day, but it's a FYF Friday. Yes, that is a new intro representing the Huddle Sports Network on Roku, Amazon, Facebook, and YouTube, which this also goes live through the streaming app. So we are live and on television, people. We are on Roku. We are on Fire Stick. That's amazing. From just YouTube, just Facebook and Twitter to being on TV, that turns it almost into a broadcast, right? How you doing, Ricky Sakat? Thank you, sir. I am doing fantastic. Yes, I had to add an intro because I have to give homage to the network that's having me go live on Roku. So, I want to talk about the schedule. Let's go over it one game at a time. I'm going to give my way too early prediction for each game. You guys give an early prediction. Yoli Cruz in the chat. Hello. Good to see you. It's such a great day. The sun is shining. It's 70 degrees out. Yes, I'm wearing a hoodie because it's only 62 in the basement. With that being said, let's go over the schedule. Week 1, Rams Sunday Night Football. What's your prediction? I say we win because our secondary is better, and I don't see those wide receivers getting 170 yards or 110 yards in that game. They couldn't stop our run with Aaron Donald last year. How do they expect to stop our run now? I think it's going to be better than a 1-point win. We're not just going to eke one out. Last year we came out firing week 1. I think we do it again because we're at home in front of the home fans. It's a week 1 home opener. The fans are going to be rabid. Do they do a video dedicated to Matthew Stafford? You know how I feel about that. I'm like, bump that. What did he do in his 12 years here? 39 comeback victories. That's nice. How many playoff wins? I'm not giving him a video dedication. I'm sorry, I'm not. I could care less what he did for the franchise because he was the only star we had after Calvin Johnson retired because Everybody else was just semi-stars. If you really think about it, we really didn't have any standouts that played well. Week 2 versus the Buccaneers at home. I don't see that going well for the Bucks. They couldn't beat us last year here. They couldn't beat us in their home stadium. I don't expect them to beat us here too. The Cardinals, the last 3 times we played them, they're 0-2-1. They've never beat the Lions. Yeah, that's about what I was thinking. Like, it might be Rams 17. They do average 15 points a game last year. They had some high games and they had some snoozers. So I think it's more like 27-17. The Buccaneers game, I don't have it going much different than it did when we were in their house and we took over their stadium and out cheered them. I see that being like a 24-6, 24-13 game. Um, the Cardinals, they revamped their defense a little bit. Don't sleep on Robinson. I still think they wanted him as a pick, but they couldn't pass up on Terry and Arnold. That's why they traded up. And if they wouldn't have traded up, they wouldn't have got him because the Cardinals picked in front of them. So that's to be considered too because they had the Texans pick, who had an earlier exit in the playoffs than the Lions. So I'm glad we got Arnold. Trust me. Patty Grimes, what's up? I'm going over the schedule, doing the way too early score predictions and win totals. At Cardinals, I got us winning. I think we're going to house them. I think we're going to get them like 31-12. And not because they kicked all field goals, because they got a touchdown, missed an extra point, and kicked 2 field goals. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. The question mark, will the Seahawks play as good without Pete Carroll? I know Mike McDonald is there, great defensive coordinator. Will it be great? We don't know. It's going to be a close game. It has been every year but one, and that was the last year with Matt Patricia when we got housed. And that was when Chris Carson, he got hurt in the first quarter. Rashad Penny took over and ran all over us like a cheap suit. But the last 3 years, it's been a 3-point game every time. I don't expect any less. I think we beat San Francisco this year because Pete Carroll's not the coach. Geno Smith, it's going to be up and down. They got a new OC, they got a new DC, they got a new head coach. Coaching matters. It's going to take them time to gel. They may have talent, and talent can overcome some coaching woes, but not all. We don't know what Mike McDaniel's going to do as a head coach yet. We haven't seen it on the field. So I think we win that game, and I think we actually win by more than 3 points. I think it's 28-21. Then we got the bye week. Hey, that's our first loss. We don't get to play, and we got the early bye. It's a loss. I don't care what anybody says. That's a loss, not on the record in the schedule. Then we go at Cowboys. I think this is where we could win, but more than likely we're going to get screwed again. So I think it's a loss. It's a close game. We played them tight last year. We held them to 21 points. We were the only team, other than the 49ers, to hold the Cowboys to under 40 points. Think about that for a minute. As bad as our defense was, we held them to half the points they normally scored. They had just had 5 straight games where they scored like 42 points. Then it's at Vikings. I'm not scared. I think we win that game easily. I think the Cowboys game is our first loss. It's going to be close. We could win, but I'm not going to say we go 5-0. We're 4-1 there. Versus the Titans, they are a revamped team with new coaching. I don't think it's going to be gelling yet. Will Levis, is he the guy? We'll find out this year. He looked good when the O-line protect, but when the O-line crumbled, he struggled. Ralph Williams, hello there. Thanks for popping in. So I have us winning at Minnesota because they're going to be starting possibly Sam Darnold or JJ. Yeah, I don't care. It wasn't Stafford Field. He got booed so loud he almost quit. As a matter of fact, I think he did. But anyways, we win at Minnesota. I think it's a tighter game. It's a hard divisional games are always hard. I think the Vikings is the only team we sweep and we split with the Bears and with Green Bay. I don't care what the Rams fans say or what's going on, Joshua Door. Hello, sir. I got my salute up for you. Woo! Do the dog check before you ask for it. Then we got the Titans coming into town. Like I said, I think we win that game. They don't have Derrick Henry. They're revamping their defense. They're revamping everything. Yes, I do the 9 p.m. where I bring in a bunch of fans with me. But I don't think the Titans can beat us at home. At home, we were a road juggernaut too last year, so don't forget this. But I think we beat the Titans 35-17, maybe 14. The Texans coming here, that's going to be a dogfight. Us going to Texans, that's a dogfight. I think we could end up losing this game. I haven't got the list yet. I know Von Doom will be there, Will Vogel, and I'm going to try to get a few more fans. I'm trying to get some different people on tonight because I'm tired of seeing the same reactions. I'm tired. I want some differing opinions. I like seeing that. At Packers, I think that's a loss too. So right there, let's see. I got win, 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 loss, win, win, loss, loss. That'll be our only two back-to-back losses. The Texans and the Packers. Oh, nice. Then we come back home. We play the Jaguars. Uh, I don't see the Jaguars winning that game. I just don't. They've been struggling to keep Lawrence healthy. I think they're going to struggle in this game. Then we're at the Colts. At the Colts is a what up though, Detroit fan report. How you doing, Neil? That's my buddy Bandit. You good tonight for 9 o'clock, Bandit? At the Colts, they are an improved team because Anthony Richardson's supposed to be back. And if he stays healthy, they'll have a great game. If they don't, yeah, Trevor Lawrence is way overrated. Oh, just going over the schedule. Right now, I have the Lions with a total of 3 losses. You got yours at 10. I got one at 9 if you want to be on for a minute. But I think that could be a on the road disappointment. Week 13, we're not losing to LGTBQB1. We're beating Caleb Williams and the Bears in our house on Thanksgiving. It is not the waxing Gibbons moon phase. So therefore, I got us winning 12-13 versus Packers on Thursday night. They always play us tough, but we're at home this time. We win that game. The Bills, I don't think they can beat us. They lost 3/4 of their secondary. They lost basically only guy they got right now is Keon Coleman, and I just don't see it. At Bears, it's outside. It's our only cold outside game. We're losing that game, guys. Goff is horrible outside in the cold. at 49ers on Monday Night Football. That's a toss-up. What do you got? Do you got us winning or losing? If we don't contain Christian McCaffrey, we lose that game. If we don't run the ball in the third quarter, we lose that game as we saw last year. And yeah, good afternoon there, King SJ. Good to see you. Winning by 14. Whoa! At least we know Kindle Vildor. Oh, I didn't think it's going to be a blowout. I just think we win because Josh Allen is still Josh Allen, and until Aaron Glenn proves to me he can stop a mobile quarterback, I'm scared. Um, at 49ers is a toss up for me. I'm going to say it's a loss just for there. So one, two, three, four. That's five losses. I got us winning week 18 as long as we aren't in sole ownership of first place in the division or the first seed overall. If there's no chance of getting the first seed and we rest starters, we lose that game. But Dan doesn't like to rest starters. I know, Ricky. We were up, what, 21-17 to let them come down and score a last minute touchdown to lose 24-21 that year in the Thanksgiving Day game. It sucked. Rocket scientist in the house. It's good to see you. Von Doom is not in the house. Oh, there he is. Only test if you're hurt. Fans pay good money to see starters. Right. Oh, you mean only rest. Gotcha. Yeah, and at halftime we were up 21-6 and we didn't score the entire second half. I don't care about those Bills fans up there in Canada. They can all go suck an egg. They're going to suck this year. I think it's going to come down to the Jets and the Dolphins in the AFC East. And I think the Patriots, if Jaden Daniels is as good as advertised, which I don't know if he is or not. I mean, Drake May. Sorry, let me get that right. They got Drake May. If Drake May is as good as advertised, which we don't know if they are. Yep, the Lions are not playing the Chiefs unless it's in the Super Bowl. So I got 12-5. That's what I just came up with, rattling those off like that. That's way too early predictions without knowing who's on the starting rosters. Yeah. Canada. I love it. It's like a different country, eh? We probably do need to tone it down a notch. No, because we rotate. 9-7. We went 12-5 with the worst secondary in the league last year. That's why I say we stay at 12-5 with the harder schedule. It's like a different country, eh? Yeah, like it's on the other side of the world. That being said, now we're to the ask the host thing. What do you want to talk about, boys? Because there isn't much out there. Goff's contract's done. The cap hits. Did you guys see the cap hits for the next 4 years for the team now? Exactly. That's where I'm at. 11-6 or 12-5. I still say, and I'm gonna call Cap rocket scientist. The Lions salary cap. Now, you guys remember prior to all these contracts, we were gonna have a hundred 112 or 20 million next year for salary cap. Do you guys realize what it is now? It's We're down to 63 with Amon Ra getting his next year. Next year we were supposed to have 120. I am trying to get my press credentials to go to every home game, rocket scientist, because I actually want to be there as a member of the medium. So we went from 120 million to 63 million left, but we do have 52 people that'll be under contract still on the roster for next season. 2026, we dropped to 42 left. That's David Montgomery's first year off. Good luck. Is there anything we can do to help on get the Lions media personnel in the offices to process it faster? Well, after getting NFL press credentials, which trump teams press credentials, I'm hoping so. I would love to be that guy there in the press box next to George Eichhorn of the who also writes for the Motor City Tribune and the Motor City Monitor, which is actually still in print, mind you, today in Detroit. Looks like Steel Chambers survives rookie camp. Will he make the 53? Who knows? It all depends on what happens. George does cover all the games because he's been in the media business for 40 plus years. In 2020, because we are a good team now, ticket prices are astronomical, which I get it still, but I'm not sure I'm good with paying $200 for a nosebleeder. I'm going to more road games, to be honest. George is a legend. Yeah. Matter of fact, Scott and George got into media around the same time. They've been together that long. I'm gonna go to Over the Cap. Just put him in a burlap sack. No, they know who he is there. Sorry, it don't work that way. So because Spot Track doesn't have the dead cap carrying over each year like it's supposed to, let me give you the real. Did you? No, I did not. I met Scott through his Inside the Pigskin podcast. They were actually talking about our former coaches prior to Dan Campbell and company being here. And I gave my nicknames for Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn in the chat, and they all lost it. They started laughing because I said it was Matt Patricia and Boob Quinn. And that's with all this shit, the Lions should definitely give you credentials. Thank you. But like I said, this year's cap space, and that's with or without Cam Sutton's contract being voided right now. Once it's void, if it's voided, it stays there. If it's not, we lose 21 million. Well, actually, the prices were going up by 80% across the board, but other teams had cheaper prices than the Lions already. So the value, it didn't just hit the Lions, it hit every stadium. It's just some stadiums were cheaper to buy tickets in because they have more seating. It is supply and demand to an extent. But 2025, it said 63 million on Spot Track. Who else? Oh, there's Dave Burkett, Tim 20 Man. No, David Pike does not have it. Um, Tim 20 Man, Jeff Risden. No, it's agreed and nothing. Oh, stop. The NFL raised ticket prices, Dan Leonard, not the Lions. That's what everybody's missing. It was an NFL raise across the board. There was a big article about it. You even bitched about it, Leonard. Anyways, so with the dead cap incurred going forward, it's 31 million left this year unless Cam Sutton's contract isn't voided, then we lose 21 million. Pent up demand is a real thing too. Yes, it is. In 2025, it goes from 63 to 48.4. In 2026, it would have been 190 to 71.67. Where it clears up the most is 2027. And Pike's credentials stop at the Jared Goof fan club. Ryan Huffman wishes he had press credentials for the Browns. I was on the short list last year, so I'm just going to reissue it again this year, give him my headshot, not wearing any lion stuff, uh, do what I'm supposed to do because it would be great. So let's look at 2027. How many players do we have on the roster? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have 11 players on the roster. Oh, that's who you're saying is greedy. The NFL got you. I appreciate you stopping in, Leonard. I know you're working, so you must be taking a pit stop break to be able to watch the show. And I won't say the words, but it is a Your Feelings Friday, and I'm wearing my shirt to match. But yes, Joshua Dora, if you don't want to have, you can comment on YouTube through your phone, but if you want to watch it on the big screen and really see a good look at this ugly face, we are live in Roku and Amazon Fire Stick apps with the Huddle Sports Network. I'm going places, baby. We went from 428 on Monday. We're at 443 current subscribers here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with all your Lions fans. Heck, NFL fans in general. My Wednesday night show was lit. Did you guys like that, Josh and Rocket Scientist? That show was great. Well, here's a hypothetical for you. With them going to all these streaming services, how much are you willing to pay to see a Super Bowl? Because I see pay-per-view Super Bowl coming. I'm not even trying to be a homer about it. I see the trend and that's where it's going. I think my cutoff is 49.99 to watch the Super Bowl. If it goes up past that, I'm doing a watch party and charging admission and you got to bring a plate too. What do you guys think? And that's only what? Oh, wow. Pay-per-view won't be something I participate in, not joking. Right. I'm just saying, I don't get why they're going to all of this stuff, but eventually it will be a pay-per-view event. I see it coming because you know what? That'll help them to pay those performers without it coming out of ticket sales, which increases the bottom line. Dale says didn't watch the Super Bowl last season. Nor did I. I actually sat in my chat and got updated by everybody else. I can't watch the Super Bowl. I have my personal reasons for that. My kid that told me to get into doing this 9 years ago, or 8 years ago, almost nine. My last conversation with them was during the Super Bowl that year. That was the year of the fail cans. I haven't watched one since. I wait till halftime and turn on the TV, watch the halftime show, and then I shut it off again. Who has been your top five Super Bowl halftime shows? I'm still ranking Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson as my number one. Okay, so you pay the $70 a month for Hulu Live, so multiply that by 12. 70 times 12, that's $840, right? Long-term trends of salaries are nearing a max sustainable situation without new revenue. So you were probably right, but I won't pay-per-view NFL games. Long live Pete Rozelle. Yes, sir. Woody Bach, the bathroom. You guys don't have a TV in your bathroom, so you don't have to stop watching the game? Am I the only one that mounted one across from the toilet? Prince was one of my top ones, but watching it live and seeing Janet Jackson's titty, it's number one for me. I got number two as Prince. I got number three for myself as Michael Jackson. LOL, I wish, bro. Um, number four, and a lot of people didn't like it, but I actually think it was the fourth best one was Maroon 5. And at five, I got Usher. That was a great show last year. He did a good job. I don't care if they're lip syncing, they have to do it. Honorable mentions, Beyonce, um, Paul McCartney when he did his, Bruce Springsteen, Kiss. Those are my honorable mentions. Pat Rothwell, I am doing fantastic and happy to say that I'm going live not only in YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, but also hitting Roku and Amazon Fire Stick. Oh my God. That comment irks my soul. He's not. If he was better than Pat Mahomes, they'd have won the Super Bowl. But this Jared Goff contract, it, it's mind-boggling how they did it, but I see it. I see what they did. It's a 2-year Super Bowl or bust contract. Do you guys realize that? Have I posted that for you? And let me explain how I came up with that. 27 million this year. He lowered his cap hit by 5 million. 32.6 next year, which that puts him at what he was going to be making this year in 2026. That $69.6 million. The dead cap's only 63.8. There may be a no trade clause, but we can cut bait right there and save that amount of money each year after. Brittany Mahomes was on the cover of SI in a swimsuit recently. Bruno Mars is another honorable mention. Yes, he was good, but you could tell he was lip syncing. His the timing was off, bad. Like his was one of the worst. Eminem's was good. That's another honorable mention. I forgot about that one for a second. Yeah, and I think it will. I when they when they waived Isaiah Rex, I thought for sure they were going to sign J.J. Ross, not another tight end. We are loaded with tight ends right now. We have 4 on the active roster if you include James Mitchell. And then we signed Parker Hess and the other kid. I thought when we got rid of Isaac Rex, the first call would have been J.J. Ross. I don't like the fact we didn't get him because he was by far the second best corner slash safety on that field in rookie camp. I hope this doesn't turn into the other kid we let go, Nowoski. Arizona has this thing about taking our scraps and never has been, and they look good there. I don't know. That's 6 tight ends. We only got 7 wide receivers with the 2 UDFAs we brought in. Oh, it's sorry. It's 8 because we added that Caden Davis too. So we got 8 wide receivers. We got 12 O linemen, and I'm good with that. I don't mind having a bunch of O linemen. But I really thought the way he got folded over and he really didn't have that good of a camp protecting Trey Dean, the other camp invite. I really thought Bruce Hudson might have been one of the rookie cuts from the UDFAs. You want to know what else is sexy as hell? That helmet. Tell me that don't look good. I love it. The black face mask, the black lion, the silver and black stripes. Ah, love that helmet. But I don't think Zylstra would have stayed on the team last year the way we were going. We don't need an extra red zone threat because Sam Laporta's that damn good. Did you guys see when the Packers fan that was on with Pat McAfee got triggered by the Lions fans screaming at their window when they were out live out at the draft? That was great. The FTP chant started, and he fired back with "F the Lions." So I got to split him with the Packers, splitting with the Bears, and sweeping the Vikings. Does anybody disagree with that assessment? I said 12-5. That's what I came up with. The only way we don't go 12-5 is if we split with the Vikings. You're absolutely right, King SJ. The emphasis is on the wrong syllable for Lion versus Packers. It doesn't have that ring when you shout it out. I think we're going to win the home game, but lose there because it's in December and it's cold, and Jared Goff is awful in the cold. Period. No, I don't care where he's at. He's awful in the cold. My way too early prediction is 12-5. Lost the last game. Who the heck knows who's going to play? But pretty soon our website will be up with merchandise up to and including. I have no confidence in Gaylord Williams. Well, I'm going to say it this way. He's going to struggle to start the season, but we face them late. We face them in week 12, I believe, as it is what the Thanksgiving Day game is. Let me look. Or week 13. By that time, with the seasoning and stuff like that, if he's developing like a normal rookie should, he should be better by that time. Look at Love. That's all I got to say. Love looked like crap the first half of the season and came on the second half of the season. But now that the game film is out and San Francisco showed how to beat Love, you put everybody in the underneath zone and run single high safety, and you rotate who you blitz between linebackers and the other safety. That's how they beat Love. Have him running for his life, had to run in heels. Right. If we can run the ball down the Bears' throat in December, we may be able to pull it off, but definitely going to be a tough game. Hopefully, the Bears will be in hibernating by the time we play in December. I I got them as an outside shot to be a playoff team. I have them in that 7 to 10 win window. I don't think they'll do as bad as last year record wise. I think they're going to be closer to 8 or 9 wins, but I can see them winning 10 because they do have one of the easiest schedules on paper. Just like we have one of the 11th hardest schedules on paper. We dodged a bullet. If we'd had to do one game overseas, we'd have jumped into the top 5 for difficulty of schedule. Do you guys realize that? How big of a bullet we dodged by not being overseas? It's huge. It'll be huge. You got to lean off camera for a second. I know a lot of people are talking about they're concerned about wide receiver. I'm trying to figure out why. Do we have no faith in what Jamison Williams pulled off at the end of the season throughout the second half with his only drop being in the NFC Championship game? Are we discounting Cleveland Browns' third year while they still had Baker and how well he looked with a quarterback he got comfortable with? versus what he looked like with Deshaun Watson and company, because there was 5 different guys, or at least 4. I don't think the wide receiver 3 is as big a concern as people thought. This is DPJ is a pro. They switched quarterbacks, remember? Everybody was penciling Deshaun Watson and the Browns into the playoffs last year. Remember that? He did look like that. Yes, he had a drop in that game, but at the same time, if you watch it in real speed, he was chipped. He started to fall, had a guy on his back, and he wasn't able to close his hands fast enough in the end zone. Which I don't know how anybody who impedes a wide receiver's route and trips him up isn't pass interference, but that's another story. Would have been a different game if they called it. And I agree. I think JMO is going to have a breakout year compared to what he's had, but I don't think he'll break 1,000 yards. And the reason why is Goff has his 2 of his 3 security blankets still on the team in Sam Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown. They get a bulk of the targets because they don't run past that 20 yards unless it's on a trick play. I think if he has anything over 700 yards and 50 receptions, that's 14 yards per catch. It's a good year for JMO. Anything less than that, barring an injury or something like that, I'm disappointed. And it should be like 6 to 8 touchdowns in those 50 receptions. Does anybody disagree with those projections for JMO? That should be like a fair barometer considering this will be his first full season playing? And that's not including his rushing stuff. We're still gonna use him like that. We'd be stupid not to. I think you throw in another 200 to 300 yards rushing on top of that on those trick plays that we run every now and then, because he's averaged 30 yards on them. And that was with being tackled 3 yards behind the line because Josh Reynolds refused to block for him the one time. Yeah, if he ran the short routes, he ran like he did at Alabama because Bryce Young, arm talent wise, is very similar to Jared Goff. Unless he dials up and lobs it deep, he doesn't throw it deep. It was over the middle and run after catch. A lot of it with JMO. It is time to talk about our favorite sponsor. What is it, guys? Put it in the chat. FTP. That's Fudge the Packers. 'Cause I can't say it on Roku. That's one of those FCC rules. You know, there's certain words you just can't say. Yes, got one in there already. We got 16 people watching. I'm hoping to see 16 FTPs. Like, oh, well, 15. I forgot. Yoli Cruz was in the chat. She's a Packer fan. She won't say FTP, but she'll say FDB. Will this be the first year in 6 years that the Bears beat the Packers? Think about that. FTP, FTP, FTV, FTP, FTP, FTV. Love it. Keep it rolling, boys. Talk about my other two sponsors, and then I will give my outro after some final thoughts for you. Gloss Negron, the best window tinner in Saginaw. Check them out. 989-443-9240. The address is 409 Hamilton Street in Saginaw. The best window tinner in Saginaw. Schedule your appointment. He also does auto detailing. He can make your whip look smooth. Like this 300 C-Class. Or this Maserati SUV. Then there's my place of employment and my favorite sponsor because they pay me to do this. I love it. They pay me to say this about them. They are located at the corner of South Grand Traverse and West Atherton Road, 602 West Atherton Road. Used tires starting at $40. New tires, you have to get a quote. Please call 810-233-8230. I hate when I get tongue-tied. Let me try that again. 810-233-8230. Talk to George, Red, or myself for your quote today. Mention this ad, get $10 off any set, whether new or used. But you guys see, my final thoughts is you see how this is a prove it deal or a Super Bowl or bust deal for the next 2 years for Jared Goff, right? I'm just putting it out there. 27.2 this year saved us 5 million. That's so we can afford to sign Ennis Rakestraw and Terrion Arnold if the Cam Sutton contract is not voided, and it's looking like it might not be. Next year, he makes what he was supposed to make this year at $32.6 million. Big dead cap. Can't afford to get rid of him. It'll cost you that much. It'll put you in the hole. In 2026, there's a balloon payment in the contract of $69.6 million. And I'm bringing this year up in specifics. 63.8 million is the dead cap. It saves 5.8 million if they have to cut him. We can't trade him, so we're not getting anything in back in compensation other than money. The reason why 2026 is huge, that is Hendon Hooker's last year of his rookie deal. We could be doing the same thing with Hendon Hooker that the Packers have done with Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love, letting him develop for 3 years before he touches the field. For a good time, call Williams at 1-800 The Bears. You got me. Oh, I laughed too hard on that one. Oh, that was good. But here, as we get closer to the end of the hour, the outro will be the Huddle Sports Network intro again because I want you guys to pay attention to that. Put it on Roku. There's lots of great shows, and they're not all homers. I mean, there was one today. I also saw another news thing before I go off the air. The NFL got with Taylor Swift's concert contract and scheduled the Chiefs game so she can be in attendance at 13 or 14 of the games, depending on what time she gets out of her concert on the one game day. It's actually very smart for the NFL to do that, not because of Taylor Swift, because of her following on social media and how many women actually watch the games just to see a glimpse of her. Women viewership last year due to Taylor Swift being in attendance was up 45%. At the games when the Chiefs were away and she was in attendance, ticket sales to women jumped by 15%. That's money across the board. Ratings, 45% jump in ratings with women who never watched the game before. That's huge. It's why there's so much additional income this year. because that gets split with every team. It just doesn't go to the Chiefs. The only thing that goes predominantly to the Chiefs is their concessions for jersey sales. Do you know what the second highest custom jersey was last year sold in the NFL? It was a Travis Kelce jersey with Swift on the back for the nameplate. That was the second highest sold custom jersey in the NFL last year. Yes, sir, I will be there. I thought you guys would like to know these little bit of things about other teams and what's going on in the NFL too, because you know what? It's hard to keep up. But here's that outro.
Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.